It's the Orchid Nurse with another video. You guys might think I'm crazy, but I went to Home Depot and I tried to look for the saddest orchid I could find for rehab, a rescue orchid, if you will. This orchid was from Home Depot. It was $7 or $7.50. And take a look at this sad specimen. And I kept the tag. I thought the tag was pretty funny. Just Add Ice Orchids is the name of the company. Water with 3 ice cubes once a week. It's horrible. I can't believe they still advertise this. But at any rate, we'll see what I can do. We're gonna go ahead and unpot her and take a look at the roots. She is in bark. Okay, she's in bark media right now. And I made sure to at least select one that wasn't so bad with hydration for the leaves. And this one's not too bad. I mean, the bottom leaves are pretty crappy, but that's expected. But these top leaves are not too bad. And if I'm new little leaf there. So again, let me unpot and see what we have underneath. So I'm going to try and do this with one hand. I am gloved up now. These are my husband's gloves that he uses to work on the cars. And I think it's going to be as easy as just literally lifting out of the pot here. And just giving it a little... Oh, that actually does not look so bad. It's just really dry. It needs some water. So I'm gonna go ahead and try and get as much of this bark media off of the roots. Probably give her a good rinse. Assess the roots again. Cut off any old and kind of dry papery roots like this right here. And spray it down with hydrogen peroxide. And I'm actually really happy with this. This looks really good. I think she just is very dehydrated, and I'm gonna cut the spike off as well so she can focus all her energy on root growth and forming this little leaf here. So as I was trying to work all the bark off of the roots, I had noticed, this is very interesting, I've never seen this before with at least some of my orchids, and not only was it potted in bark media, but it also looks to be packed really tightly at the stem with sphagnum moss. I'm not sure if this is common with other orchid vendors or maybe it's just specific to this one, but out of my 30 or so orchids, I've never seen it pot in like this with the bark and then the stem with the sphagnum moss, which poor thing, I think is probably so suffocated right now. So I'm gonna work on getting this out and start cutting off all these. So this fowl actually turned out to be a lot better than I had expected. Again, I was trying to get the sickest one, but to my surprise, the roots look fabulous. They're really, really healthy, nice and green. Again, I just think this fowl was just very dehydrated. So I tried to pick up as much of the bark media as possible, but there's still some chunks. So what I'm doing is I'm soaking it in distilled water for about 10-15 minutes to see if I can get the rest of that bark media off. As far as repotting it, I think I might actually put it back in bark media, so maybe I won't, I have to soak it as much and worry about, the old bark stuck to it, because again, I have this intuition that I want to put it back in bark media. It looks really good, and I don't want to stress it out at all by putting it in water culture or the semi-hydroponic leca balls, I'm sorry. So probably let it soak for a couple more minutes. I'm going to repot it with, again, the bark media, which I use the orchid bark potting media. I really like this one just because I feel like the wood chunks are a lot bigger, which allows for better airflow. And then I use the Better Grow Orchid Fertilizer. I believe it's the 2014-13. And what I do, my form of fertilizing weekly is I put half a teaspoon of the orchid fertilizer in a gallon of distilled water, and then I use that kind of sparingly with each watering once a week. And some people might ask, well, how much do you typically use? I maybe use like, I don't know, 4 ounces per another gallon of distilled water, if that makes any sense. So I pour a little bit of this in another gallon jug water of distilled, and I pour 4 ounces of this, and then that's how I water most of my phals that are in Leica hydroponics and semi-water culture, full water culture, as well as bark. So I will let this soak a little bit longer. It's beautiful. Look at this. $7.50, well worth it, that's for sure. So let it soak a few more minutes, and then I will repot it into the bark media. So here she is. I repotted her in the bark medium. Again, she looks really good. I didn't have to trim out almost none of the roots because they look really healthy. So again, I potted her in the bark medium, and now I'm soaking her with the Better Grow fertilizer and distilled water. I'll probably let it soak for about 15-20 minutes. Let her dry for a week, and then do the process all over again as far as watering and fertilizing. I honestly thought it was going to be a lot sicker than what I see here, but I mean, she's putting on a new leaf. Roots look really good. This root right here is actually perfectly fine. It's just, it's not papery or crunchy or anything. It's nice and plump. So I'll leave that one there. So yeah, not too much of a rescue story, but happy ending. Thanks for watching. Happy growing.